Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel's Finding Value. Today we're going to do a daily technical analysis update on uranium. And uranium, it's right there trying to break out of its resistance line. We'll take a look at it and I'll show you what that looks like. And we'll look into some of the companies and what companies I would be buying. Again, this is just my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. You guys can follow me or not. It's up to you, but you have to take the responsibility for whatever actions you take. So here we go. I'm going to jump into it. This is my opinion on uranium. And this is the dollars per pound, the physical price. You can see this massive move higher, a little bit of a sell-off and another massive move higher, and we're kind of chilling out right now. But what we're doing is we're acclimating to higher physical prices. We're not coming down and really staying down. We're staying in this 50-ish area for a little bit, which means that we're getting a little bit of resistance support at this area the longer we stay here. So if we break above it, we could come back down and it would act as a nice support at the $49.50 area. Here is URNM. I'm going to throw a trend line in here and show you what we're trying to break. And it's taken some time, but there's your trend line. It's right in front of you. We're trying to break this trend. We've ridden on this quite a bit before. We've come on back, pulled back, and we've come right to this trend line, and we keep hitting this trend line. The trend line is strong. Hopefully that was a good imitation of what strong sounds like, but there we are, right at it, trying to break through it. This is what the daily chart looks like if you were to zoom in and look at the dailies. I can throw a trend line in here that looks something similar to this, and that looks a little bit better when it's scrunched up like that. But what I would do is take this as the trend that we have to break. Looking at CCJ, I'm just looking at the candlesticks on the right-hand side. Big buying pressure, small selling pressure. We're pausing at this area where there's some sellers. We're trying to break through it. It doesn't look necessarily good or bad. I would say I'm favoring on the good side because we have big buying pressure and small selling pressure. The sellers aren't coming in here and throwing any candlesticks on us in terms of bearish engulfings like this one here. So I think it looks okay. It looks okay to move on higher if the buyers decide to push it higher. This one, we tried pushing it higher, it came back, and we've got a little bit of momentum coming to the downside. We may have a small down day tomorrow, but you never know if the money truck shows up and starts dumping money everywhere in the sector from an ETF, then obviously this thing can push higher very easily. But the sellers aren't womping it, and the buyers aren't pushing it higher yet. We're kind of in the middle on all these companies, and that's kind of where we're at with Fission. Again, I'm just looking at the candlestick patterns here. Big up day, small down day, big up day, small down day. So the buying and selling pressure, I would say, is favoring the buyers, but we haven't pushed higher yet. And this black candlestick means we have a little bit of momentum coming back down. And we're seeing that with a lot of the charts. Sky Harbor's the same way. Canalaska, I mean, we got this nice kind of momentum move. We came back up, but the buyers, they didn't floor it here. We just kind of sat there. It was a dud day. And we're seeing that kind of across the sector. I mean, this is a little bit stronger, a little bit of a wick at the top. There are still sellers out there. They're offloading their shares at 35 cents or something like that and bringing it back down. Base load, I mean, this, man. So we've got two big sell-off days. We're coming and we're trying to push it higher, but it's not really pushing it higher. We're not getting any strong closings. So I think we're going to go sideways. And same with Fission. We tried pushing higher. It kind of came back down. So I think we came down, came up, and I think it's going to kind of cycle a little bit before moving up, perhaps. UEXCF, I mean, there's not much sellers here. We come into this region, and it's where the buyers are equaling the sellers. That's why we're getting these wicks at the top, a sell-off. We try to push higher, and it's holding here. We've got this nice equilibrium of buyers and sellers here. And at some point, if the buyers continue to come in, the sellers will get overwhelmed or tired, and eventually this will resolve upward. That's my guess in the way the candlesticks look like. This one here, we can throw a trend line in here just to see what's going on. I'd almost want to put it like here. Then you can kind of drop it on there, and that's your trend line there. A bunch of hits coming through here. And it's a strong trend line. We're trying to break through it, and we're just stuck at the trend line for Denison Mines. Forum Energy Metals the same way. Every time we kind of come up here, we hit selling pressure. We come back down and rest, and then we try to go again. Now, this is the one that I like at the moment. Appia Energy looks fantastic. We got a nice big bullish engulfing. It does have rare earth metals and uranium. This is the one that I purchased. And what I like about it is it looks like we're trying to do a little something here. And I'm getting a little excited on it because the chart looks really good. You know, and it's coiling up here. We're coiling up. We came from the downside up. We want to enter this like this. We're coiling up. We're coiling up. And we got a bullish engulfing pattern right here. It's going to be just a matter of time before this thing breaks very soon, probably to the upside. And we could see a big run. To do a projected move here, what you do is you go to the top of this. You go to the bottom of this guy here. It's roughly maybe about here. And then I'll straighten it out a little bit. And then the projected move would be about where the breakout is. So it'd be something like that. But either way, I'm not a huge price projection guy. I don't really use those projections very much. But what I like to see is the bullish engulfing, and then the move to break higher, I think, usually comes next. So that's the important thing. I like APAAF right here. That's the one I like. UU. Let's throw a trend line in here. The American boys were doing pretty good. I can tell you that. And I mean, if you draw this guy in there like this, we're kind of breaking out of that. We already broke out of this one here. So I think it looks pretty good. I mean, we got a little bit of sellers up here with this wick at the top, but man, if it finished strong, I would have been very bullish. But we still have some sellers up here. UR Energy's got the same thing, a little bit of sellers up there with that wick, but we still put in a pretty good up day. I mean, we're trying, guys. It's trying to break through here. It's encountering a little bit of sellers. UROY looks really good. We're trying to break higher. There's sellers here. They're not pushing it down really. The buyers are buying it back up. So we're at a stalemate. The candlesticks opening and closing prices are really small in here. And usually when you see this, you have a nice big up day and these little kind of bloody nose days. I think we're going to resolve upward. We're going to see probably the buyers come up here and lay down a fat candlestick or something. I think pretty soon probably. That's at least what I'm hoping for, and that's usually what this pattern indicates. UEC tried doing that, but it's got a little bit of wick at the top, a little bit of sellers up there. But this thing looks like it's 52-week highs is probably where it's at. So this one looks really good. It's strong. The wick usually, I mean, sometimes you can have a little bit of a down day tomorrow, but it's good. Bannerman looks like it's trying to turn around. This downtrend right here is trying to turn around and move back up. So that one's looking better. Deep Yellow is looking a little bit better. We're starting to get this pattern where it usually resolves itself in a pattern of three. You get this kind of hump, a hump, and then another little hump, and then it goes. And just to show you the humps there, on Appia Energy, you've got the kind of this big hump. So it's like 1, 2, 3, and I think it resolves usually after that. So that one looks like it's progressed pretty far. And then Deep Yellow, looking all right. Forces Metals, we're trying to, it's like we're putting in those humps, and then we'll break. But yeah, it's got some resistance through here. It's trying to break through it. A little bit of sellers today. Goviax up a little bit. And guys, I'm just focusing on this right-hand side of the candlesticks. A lot of these trends have been broken. Like, for instance, you have a trend line that comes through here that's broken. And you've got resistance support through here. So the resistance coming back through it, we cut through it like a hot knife through butter. We came on down and used it as support. Now we're moving back up. there's no real trend lines or anything that's over here. We had a little bit of a consolidation that we broke to the upside, and I think this is going to resolve upward. Nice big buying pressure days, small selling pressure. It looks fantastic to continue higher. And Global Atomic, I mean, we had this big sell-off day yesterday, or last trading day, I should say. We came up, and yeah, I think this is going to probably bounce around a little bit before moving up. But it doesn't look bad. I mean, I'm trying to see if this looks like a topping pattern, but it doesn't. At least not to me. And International Consolidated Uranium, this guy, you draw a trend line through here, and right through there is what I see. And we broke through it, and we're going to use this as support now to sit up here. And then I think we're going to go and move on higher after it rests a little bit. We'll look for a break higher. Kazatomprom, same thing. I mean, we're breaking out of these kind of little patterns here, and I don't know if this one broke, but you draw it through here, can draw it through this guy here, trying to break through it. That's what we're trying to do. Here's Centrus Energy. This one may relax a little bit. I mean, this thing's been on fire here. Basically over a double from here to here. So it may rest a little bit, kind of pull back a little bit. We're pretty far away from the 200-day and 50-day there. Laramide looks like it may rest a little bit this big bearish engulfing day, but again, if the money trucks come in from the ETFs and buy these things up, it could push higher. So I'm leaving that as an option. Lotus Resources moving on up. It looks really good and strong. This one looks really good and strong. Big up days, small down days all through here. Looks fantastic. Peninsula Energy, big buying pressure, small selling pressure. It looks like we're just stair-stepping higher. Just hold on and stair-step it higher. Boss Energy is doing the same thing. We got through this really sticky area at 16 cents. We broke out, pulled back, and I think we're going to see a nice good uptrend from here on out. Valera Metals, the resistance line comes through at 28 cents-ish. Broke through it, pulled back, and now we're moving on higher. Looks good. And Paladin Energy, big buying pressure, small selling pressure. I think we're in an uptrend. We just got to break 80 cents or so and close above it. So that looks good. Overall, uranium looks good. It's trying to break out of its little stickiness where it's at. And when I say sticky, it means that we're coming into, think of it as you're moving forward, you're progressing forward, you want to move higher, and you're coming into selling pressure. And I call that kind of sticky, like it slows you down. You're going into some stickiness or some mud or whatever. So when you hear me say it's getting a little sticky here, we're encountering sellers, we're encountering resistance, selling pressure or force. But it's looking good. It looks like we're in uptrends, and that our lows are stepping up. The sellers are putting in small candlesticks. It's like they're muted. They're not really coming in here hammering us lower, at least not yet. So I have to see that before I make a determination if the sellers are winning versus the buyers. But right now, everything looks intact. Everything looks good. And I won't change my mind until something shows me otherwise. If you guys like this content, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.